Well, traditionally, I will say a few words in conclusion. The minister mentioned the illegitimacy of the Kiev regime, which we're fighting against, and that's one of the things I want to emphasize. We're not fighting against the Ukrainian people, but the neo-Nazi regime in Kiev, which captured the power in 2014 through a coup d'etat. That is the source of their power. And all the troubles of Ukraine today and all Russia's troubles that stem from this began with the bloody anti-constitutional coup. And that is something that is still relevant today, because those people in power there, they commit crimes every day against their own people. This regime is obviously losing the nature of a state. It is losing any semblance of statehood. Now, when I talk about legitimacy, what do I mean? They didn't organize an election. The Constitution allows them to, only allows them to prolong the term of their parliament, the Rada. It doesn't allow them to extend the mandate of the president. And any reference to a martial law regime doesn't make any sense, because it is not in the Constitution. What about the Supreme Court? What about the Constitutional Court? That's a good question. The president of the Constitutional Court is in prison. It's something they don't talk about, but they put him behind bars. And the court's power also includes repealing illegal orders by the president. And it cancelled some of his decrees. And after that, they threw the head of the court into prison. As we know, it is only the court that determines whether a person should be put into prison if it's a civilized country. But here, they decided that they don't want to abide by the court, and the head of the court was put in prison. Now, and do you know what happened with the Constitutional Court? The guards, the security guards, stopped allowing the head of the court into the court building. And that meant the court was paralyzed. And the president of the court went abroad, where, as far as I know, they are being guarded in the country where they're currently located, because they're a threat to their life. So is this statehood? No, this is clear signs of the loss of statehood. So I think if they reduce the mobilization age, lower the service age, it will not change the situation on the battlefield like it didn't for Hitler's Germany, but it will be one in a series of crimes they commit against their people. It doesn't protect the interests of the Ukrainian people. Such a decision would only protect the decisions of those who give decisions from abroad. That is the only motivation. Young boys will be herded and sent to be slaughtered. We saw how they are being caught in the streets like stray dogs and sent to face the bullets. And now they'll be sending young boys to do that. And after they have run out of resources, they will flee. They will flee to other countries to hide under the wing of those who are giving orders today. Some of their former leaders already abroad, and they feel okay because they have stolen enough money for themselves, stolen from the Ukrainian people. And that money is in the banks of their sponsors. All the stolen money is stored in the banks of their sponsors. And now they are doing everything they say. They're dancing to their tune. And this is the way it will continue until we reach the goals of the special military operation. Now, for the next thing, I've mentioned the mobilization in Ukraine, and everyone is aware of the situation. And we've discussed what we have in the number of personnel. Last year, over 300,000 citizens came to the conscription offices and signed contracts to serve in the army. Over 300,000 people. This year, as of today, we have over 430,000 people who have signed contracts. And this stream of people who are essentially volunteering for the army is unending. And it is thanks to this caring attitude to the fate of the country, to the fate of their children, is that we have this, and that we have this a breakthrough in the breakthrough progress in combat. And this is why we've managed to seize the strategic initiative. And when I mentioned the crimes committed by the Kiev regime, I didn't only mean crimes against the Ukrainian people, but also crimes against our people, including in the Kursk region and other border regions. Well, of course, if you talk to military experts, both Russian and foreign, they call it a reckless adventure that didn't have any practical sense. That incursion in the bordering regions of Russia didn't bring any results. But of course, it is one of the crimes they've committed against the people, against the civilian people of those regions. And of course, it is the holy duty of the armed forces to squeeze the enemy out from our territory. And the military justice bodies must record all the crimes committed against the civilian population. And the security services must make sure that the criminals are found and punished. And as to the expenditure and what we're getting is of course very important.
I mean, the minister talked about 6.5% of the GDP spending on enhancing the defense capabilities and preparedness. That's a lot of money. That's 2.5% more than we used to spend on the same things. But that's not the biggest military expenses, even among those countries who are not involved in any armed conflicts. But nevertheless, this is a lot of money, and we need to use them very rationally, pragmatically, to ensure the social benefits and social guarantees for our troops, efficient functioning of our military industries, and to use what the armed forces is giving to the country. We are speaking about the social benefits here. We're speaking also about the vehicles and equipment and the ammunition. Everything should be delivered in time. So we should look into what is being delivered, and we should know how to use this equipment, and we need to train people who know how to use this equipment efficiently. So we are faced with a lot of tasks, and we are resolving these tasks. So, and everything that is happening with the popular defense industry, as it's called, what's happening on the front lines, on the line of contact. But we need to ensure that the entire defense industrial complex works to achieve the result. And in this regard, we should also mention the state-of-the-art weapons, including those who are well known here in Russia and abroad. First of all, I'm speaking about the intermediate range weapons you're all well aware of, and you remember that the Soviet Union eliminated the land-based intermediate range missiles, well, and Americans followed suit with their Pershings. But apart from the intermediate land-based missiles, Americans also had similar systems that were sea-based and air-based, and the Soviet Union did not have such systems. So basically, we unilaterally removed these weapons because our adversary kept those systems in the sea and in the air, and we had nothing. But during the modern times, during the Russian times, we have developed much better systems than the US have that are sea-based. I'm speaking about calibers, zircons, the hypersonic complexes, hypersonic systems. We have KH-101 missiles with capabilities that are much better than the adversary have. Their range is more than 4,000 kilometers. And this system can also use special, so-called special warheads, which is a nuclear warhead. And ultimately, a well-recommended system that is called Resnik, which is very powerful. Once again, I would like to repeat this, that the specialists are well aware of this. Our rocket forces commander here, and he told me that when there is a comprehensive attack, when several systems are used simultaneously, this strike will be as strong as a nuclear strike. But it's not a nuclear strike because no nuclear fuel, nor nuclear component, no radiation contagion will result after such an attack, and it's essential when such decisions are made on using these kind of systems during hostilities, on what kind of systems we can use. But we must very closely watch what's happening in other countries, what they commission or what they might commission in the near future, in the short term. I'm speaking about the other leading countries from the military standpoint. And the way we worked before, we must continue, we must carry on, also in the midterm planning. And I would like to go back to what's been said. 6.3% of the GDP we're spending on enhancing our defense capabilities to ensure that all the components in the country, all the parts of our statehood, the economy, the social sphere, science, education, healthcare could develop. We cannot continue to increase these expenses with no limitations. I'm saying this to make sure that the state, the Russian people, is giving its armed forces everything they can to make sure that they accomplish the goals that we are all faced with. And our goal is to ensure security of the Russian people, to ensure security for our people and the future of Russia. And I really hope that the pace that we have gained over the last few months at the line of contact will be preserved, will be maintained. I would like to thank you for your service and to wish you all the best. Thank you very much.